Hello my lovelies, welcome back to Allotment of the Dead. So I thought I'd give you a quick rundown of the seedlings that are in the new build at the moment. Planted quite a bit over the last few weeks. This is where my giant onions are as well, where the giant onion challenge. I'll give you a little update on how they're looking. Better than they were, to be honest. So I'll show you kind of what's happening with those, and I'll show you the other sorts of bits and pieces I'm growing in here, and the little seedlings and things like that. So come and have a look. Okay, so here's the giant onions. Looks like I've got weeds growing in amongst them. I don't know where the hell these little weeds come from. I'm sure they weren't in the compost, but there we go. Let's pull it out. There we go. So the leaves on the giant onions are thickening up quite nicely. They're quite tall already. I've got some quite good ones, I think. Just need to put them on again, and they should be really, really nice. Any of you guys remember what this little fella is? It looks absolutely lethal with those little spines. Let's see if I can actually zoom in on those. There we go. Look at that. Absolutely lethal things. So this little fella is a Szechuan pepper plant. Bought it probably 2 years ago now from the Gardener's World Live, which is June this year. If you are going, I'll probably end up going on Sunday. Should be really good. But this is where you get your Szechuan peppers from. So it didn't really kind of stay green over that winter period. So maybe I'll bring it in for winter this year. It's come back lovely though with these nice green leaves and things. Really nice. I've got some pumpkins all doing nicely up there. Pumpkins and courgettes all doing really well. So we'll carry on basically growing them on. I'll pot them on. I think there's 2 per pot at the moment. I'll probably separate them a bit. I've got some lettuce growing as well, a bit sparse. Probably need a bit more water actually. So yeah, they're doing okay. Temperature wise in here, 14 degrees. It went down as far as 6 in here, so that's not too bad. All right, let's show you the little bits and pieces. Snake gourd. That's not a snake gourd. I'm getting weeds in all of these. Musky de Maroc is also a quite large pumpkin, so that's not a large pumpkin. So there is movement on some things though. So these kind of kuchikuri and some of those sort of plants. Got some lemongrass growing. So I've got a couple of pots of lemongrass this year, so we'll try those. One little epizote. I think that is an epizote. Should be good. And I think over the back there's one wormwood growing at the moment. Again, I've not started these on heat or anything. They've just been left down here. These are the overflow ones from the Aztec broccoli. So I've potted those on. They're in the polytunnel at the moment in separate little modules. So hopefully they'll grow quite nicely. Strawberry spinach. You can see a nice little mass of strawberry spinach. You can grow these for the actual leaves, but you can also grow it for the fruit that looks a bit like little strawberries going on along the stem. Should be really good. And ice plant. So this is the mesembryanum. Again, they're probably up to the stage where I can probably pot them on. And then going over to here, we've got winter and summer savoury. The bitter melons haven't started yet, but they do take a while to germinate. This little fella here is the dill. So this is a dwarf mammoth dill. Dutch mammoth dill. Yeah, can't be a dwarf and a giant at the same time. Nothing from this samphire, and then the other lemongrass is coming through now as well. Nothing from the borage. I think I made the schoolboy error and covered them. I think borage is again another one of those plants that needs a bit of light to germinate. We'll trial it and then we'll see. Right, let's show you my absolute disaster that I've just done today. So these are brassicas growing. So these are mostly things like kale, cauliflower, Romanescu. So there's some kohlrabi. There's a mixture of stuff in here, again, which will all need potting on at some point. I've given them a good water today. But you guys probably by now know how clumsy I am. So getting this down off the top shelf, I've managed to drop the entire lot on the floor. I don't know which is which. I think the only thing I probably think is red ruble is this, because it's got that nice red tinge. I don't know whether you can see that. You see that nice red tinge to it. Almost looks as if it's two-dimensional. Bit weird, that. And then I suppose as some of the things like Cavolo Nero and that come in, you'll start to see the different types of leaves and things. So I'll probably be able to figure out which is those. But there's supposed to be 4 different kinds of kale in here, and I'm really not 100% sure which is which. I've put them back where I thought they were. That might not be necessarily right though. Again, I'm probably going to need to pot these on quite quickly. Oh god, I'm a disaster. You know when you get one of those hard days at work as well, so the last thing you want is to drop your plants on the floor. But there we go. I would suggest though, it's probably not all bad. You know, these things happen. It's an allotment after all. There's going to be some fails. There's going to be some ups and downs, as they say. So that's one of my fails for this week. I hope it's not going to be a repetition of that, because I've got quite a long weekend this weekend, and I'm going to try and spend quite a lot of it down the plot here and get some bits and pieces done. Maybe start the new plot at the end there, cut a bit of the brambles back on one of the other plots, and try and get things generally a little bit tidier. But this is definitely a job I'm probably going to have to do today now in terms of potting on these dropped kale. Oh well, such is life. It wasn't what I was planning on doing, but it is what it is, as they say. Right, we'll see you on the next video, guys. So all the best, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.